All right, welcome back to the Wrestling Philosopher podcast. I had ambitions of doing a lot more of these, but things get chaotic. It's a new year. I have my notes right here. So I've still been thinking, still philosophizing about things and stuff. But the biggest thing that made me want to come back and talk to my tens of people that listen to this is the match between Spencer Lee and Masanosuke Ono on Flowrestling on, I believe, February 26th, live on Flowrestling. I cannot wait for this match. I have thoughts on Team Japan and their 2024. We'll get to that shortly. But first thing I want to talk about is Spencer Lee versus Ono. This is an incredible match, and most likely the 2028 Olympic final, due to the fact that the World Championships have 10 weights. Ono is a 61 kilo and Spencer Lee is a 57 kilo wrestler. Both have to make a decision. Spencer will most likely stay at 57 until LA 2028. And then Ono will most likely go down. I've heard in interviews, that Ono walks about 62, 63 kilos. So that's about so it's a 6 kilo drop. So he's probably cutting 8 to 10 pounds. I think that'd be worth, actually, is that 8 to 10? No, more like 15. Sorry, bad math. That would be a worthy cut for Ono, especially for the Olympic aspirations. I'm nervous about this match for Spencer Lee. I think Ono's insanely fast. I think his system and how he wrestles is extremely explosive, extremely systematic. He has a very good system in place. He gets to it fast. He does it hard. And he's really difficult to open up as well. So if Spencer can get Ono in wrestling positions, like if Spencer can open Ono up, I see Spencer having a lot of success. I believe on the Flowrestling podcast they talked about either guy could tech. Spencer could tech Ono. Ono could tech Spencer. And I 100% agree with that. This is going to be an incredible match. I really can't wait. And I think Ono is the perfect example of what Team Japan does best right now. So what I mean by that, and I have some notes, so forgive me for looking down every here and there. And I said this was going to be an audio-only podcast or show, whatever the hell I called this. Well, you know, it was pain to like turn off the audio, and I'm just going to talk. So whatever. Okay? So Team Japan and why they're special. Japan had five finalists in the first 5 weight classes. So they had finalists at 57, 65, and 74 at the Olympic Games. They won 2 out of those 3. And then at the non-Olympic Worlds, they had finalist Ono, champion, literally probably the breakout star of 2024. And then they had another finalist, I don't remember his name, but he took silver. Still, the first 5 weights of the world, Japan has the best guys. And this is my thematic pull. This is what I get from Team Japan and why I think they're so good. First thing, they're extremely disciplined in their stance. Their stance is incredible. Head-hands position. They rarely reach. They rarely will make contact that does not have purpose. And this is the biggest thing I see. We're talking young wrestlers, not elite wrestlers, but people just grab on things, reach for stuff, hang on ahead, and just hang out there, or just have a wrist, or have an underhook, and they have no real purpose for that. With Team Japan, there is not a wasted moment in the tie. Everything is waiting for their system. They're forcing their system. They're waiting for a step, a pressure, something. And it's all because they're good head, hands, defense, their good stance, and then their established system. And then, so going back to the system, okay, these are referring to the notes. Going to the system, there's for all of them. I saw Takatani hit the same low single and Dake multiple times. Ono has that ear snap to ankle. Higuchi got that drag and sweep single. Those are their attacks. We all know them. I named them. I've only seen a handful of matches, but they're still going to get there because not only do they have an elite attack that they can get to consistently, they have multiple ways to get to that attack. So the word consistently is the key. If you just have a collar tie sweep, cool, but they have a fake drag sweep. They have a wrist sweep. They have a post sweep. They have a snap here sweep. They just the permutations to get there are ridiculous. And I believe most of Team Japan has this kind of like idea of having all these options at top. These are my attacks in the middle, and then a bunch of finishes at the end. My good buddy and coaching partner, Alex Abono, talks about like all roads lead home. You don't need multiple shots. I just need multiple ways to get to essentially the same couple shots, and then I need to know how to finish all of those. And I really, really agree with that. I think it makes wrestling simpler, and I think it makes exploring the ways to get there and get out of there more interesting and fun and easy to coach from there. It's like, hey, this is your favorite shot. We need to find 10 ways to finish it because each guy is going to defend it differently. I think that's very, very smart, and it's really a great way to coach as well, I think. It puts a lot of creative freedom on the athlete, which I think is very, very helpful. And because of their system that most of these guys have in place, now these are the elite of Japan right now, but seeing the same kind of system and stance through a couple of guys, it really stands out how the country goes. So I'm still going to, these are broad statements. Is this what Team Japan's doing? I don't know, but we'll find out. Because they have such a dialed in system, there's no need for a game plan. I've been around MMA fighters for a couple years now. I've tried to study high level wrestling and things of that nature. And talking about the game plan. Oh, this is the game plan for Taylor. This is the game plan for Burroughs. I don't think anyone in Team Japan thinks about a game plan. They just think about their moves. And that's what every single coach in the history of forever, at least in America, will say. You lost that match because you weren't wrestling your match. Straight up. You weren't wrestling your match. So if you have your system and you're setting that and you're getting on that, how am I going to lose? I am on the attack. I am doing what I need to do. I have covered my permutations to get to my attack. I've covered my permutations to get out once I get my attack. Where can you lose the match? If you stay in good position and you stick to your system, it's mathematically impossible. Now, are there other variables? Yeah, but if you keep wrestling your match, there's nothing to game plan for because you just have your moves and you're just going to go do them, and that's it. So I think it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Going deeper. Okay, now we're getting a little bit more technical. Their parterre is ridiculous. Ono, ridiculous parterre, and Higuchi both had really, really strong parterre. Kyuka had a nice lace as well. That head inside lace was ridiculous. They do a much better job from what I see optics-wise than men's freestyle in America at parterre. Very much a system. A lot of times in America, we'll get a guy, take him down, and then just kind of like wait for it to get stood up from there. And I see this a lot with Russians. I don't see a lot of Russians really going for guts, but I see Japan really, like, the second they're on top, they're working something. And they may not get the time because it's strong on bottom, but they're not messing around. There is a system. They do not want to just wait there. They see it as an opportunity to score. Earn Your Gold did analysis of Ono at the World Championships and Junior World Championships, and every takedown had 4 points of value. That means he took the guy down and then turned him every time. So it wasn't just he was great to get the takedown, he was great to get the turn. It was a given he was going to get a turn, which is just absurd, absolutely absurd. So I think having that established system on top as well, which many folk style wrestlers in America have that, I think that greatly benefits Team Japan and their ability to score points and widen the gap. What else do we got here? Big one, man. they're extremely athletic. Obviously, right? We see the way they move. Now you can go into the size of the person, the way they work out, the diets, the just genetics. I don't know what to get into, but goddamn, those guys can move, and they move fast, and it's incredible, and it's all of them. And we have different types of body styles and wrestling styles and coaching styles in the U.S., and it's notable, too, that it's the first 5 of Team Japan that do really, really great. And then the next 5 after 79 kilos on up, there really isn't any noise being made. So I'd be curious what that system looks like for them. Are they just not athletic enough to essentially establish the Team Japan system? Or there's a gap? There's a gap somewhere for sure. Because with US, I think we're pretty solid 57 to 125, Russia 57 to 125, and there's a style that's implemented. It seems that a lot of Team Japan's style is on athleticism and speed, and that is great if you're about $170 and below. But the second you're like 190, being the fastest guy in the room is not always a reality. And I don't know if the coaching style or the philosophy of Team Japan translates to those upper weights. I'd be curious to talk to some coaches and athletes and really see some of the more upper weights in Japan and see what that looks like. The last one is a sports psychology approach that does not really get talked about in America, essentially until you're almost retired. And it's just like, it's a game. I remember as a young athlete taking a lot of my losses and getting really worked up about matches, took things way too seriously. Man, the Takatani got pinned in the Olympic finals and was smiling and having a great time, gave Zhamalov a big hug, and it was incredible. And I think they just have a really great respect for the game. Ono was running around the World Championships, just hanging out with David Taylor, crash interviews here. Just an extremely great attitude that I aspire to, model after. Not always am I the most happy or laid back person at a competition, especially as a coach too. But it's so, like, I want to be like that more, and I want to make sure that the athletes that I coach are like that as well. So I've had these notes down for a little while, talking about Team Japan, and I thought no better time than talk about Spencer Lee versus Ono coming to Extreme Arena, Coralville, Iowa, live on Flowrestling, February 26th. As of now, my pick, man, this is tough. I really don't know who I want to pick. I think I already kind of said I was worried about Spencer for the beginning. I will say Spencer for now. I just don't know where he's at health-wise. He's got 2 tournaments leading up to the match. I'll see how he looks then. Ono's a different beast, man. Ono's a different beast, but so is Spencer. I think if Ono, it's almost like who can get contact first. If Ono can get contact, I think it'd be really, really dangerous. I feel like I'm going to pick Ono for now. Ono's my pick. I love Spencer Lee. I'd love to see Spencer Lee get it done. I think there's going to be a ton of points on the board, and I cannot wait. So this is episode 3 of the Wrestling Philosopher podcast. I hope to make more. We'll see what happens, but it's all good. I hope you have a great day.